Hi everyone, it's me again. Today's topic will be some myths about blindness and about blind people. I will start with my personal anecdote. I went to the place where they actually helped me out a lot because even though I went there very few times, but I changed very much my attitude and I got some basic knowledges. But the person that was in charge of the instructors received me with two thoughts that were quite hard, I would say. The first thought of hers was that the life of a blind person is a really bad life. Well, I didn't feel that great at that moment, and of course it affected me, this kind of an opinion. But now when I'm okay, I can tell that perfectly sighted people can have a miserable life, and a blind person can have really happy and enriching life. I mean, it has nothing to do one thing with the other, I would say. Yes, it's a little bit more possible that we do deal with depression, with some bad moments, maybe more of the mood swings, but it doesn't mean if you can't see or if you're visually impaired that you will necessarily also be unhappy. I mean, it all depends on you what you will do with your life. And the second comment of hers was that my husband will divorce me and that my daughter will abandon me. So, and that was the answer to my question, how much should I ask my husband and my daughter to help me out? What's the correct thing to do? And she basically said, well, take advantage on them while they're still around you, because I know many people that were abandoned from complete families. Well, that's also not true now. It can happen, but I think it can happen as frequently as with any other person. So I think it's a bad myth. But these kind of comments, of course, I find very unethical, especially if the person is there to help you out. But let's leave it for some other time. Right now, Diego will help us out and will tell us what myths are there in the society about blindness and blind people.
Blindness is a tragedy.
That's the first one. Well, yes, obviously it's not the happiest moment in our life, no, if it happens during our life, but it doesn't mean that you can't live fully. Many blind people are completely independent. They have their families, they work, they do things on their own, so it's equally fulfilling as life of anyone else.
Blind people are also mentally slow.
Well, that's funny to me. I'm sorry. It's like saying that anxious person also has kidney issues. I mean, it's no connection in my opinion. It can coincide now and then, but I don't think there's any direct connection. I think that unfortunately blindness doesn't choose. You can have university degree, you can have masters, you can have PhD, or you can have only primary school. I don't see any connection between these two things either.
Blind people need supervision all the time.
Well, that also isn't true. If you lose your sight during your life, at the beginning while you're getting used to your new circumstances, yes, you need a lot of help, no? But then if you have the right attitudes, you need less and less help until you reach the point that you practically don't need help at all.
Being blind means having no vision at all.
That's also not true. That's what I also imagined before. I do have a friend that he says that he sees only black and he can tell because he used to have the sight before. I, for example, see black and white dots. Another friend of mine sees like a light making circles all the time. That would be really tough for me. Some people actually see shades. There are many ways of seeing when you're or not seeing, no, when you're blind.
Visually impaired people have super hearing.
That's also a funny one. I mean, we don't suddenly develop super hearing. I never believed about this thing. The fact is, when a person has a sight, it's very helpful for us in our everyday life. I would dare to say that before I was even a little bit lazy, that I didn't pay enough attention because I knew that my sight will always help me out. But right now, for example, when I can't see, what I use a lot is my memory, where I put the things, what I have to do, what I have to buy, because I rather do that than adapt differently. But yes, it's true. I pay more attention to the signals, to the hearing signals. It's not that I developed super hearing. It just, so to say, the sight doesn't bother me anymore. So I pay attention to hearing more, also to smell. For example, it's also very helpful for us.
All visually disabled people know Braille.
That's also not true. Maybe in old times, no, but in old times not, because I don't think everyone had the chance to learn it. I don't know. I would say that it depends very much what we are doing, or also about it depends on our personality. I personally, yes, I did learn Braille, but I don't sit and read books because I prefer to listen to the audiobooks. Maybe it's laziness again. But I do use Braille, for example, to mark my medicine, or you can use it to, for example, to write down the recipes to bake or cook in Braille. But like that I would use it on daily basis, I don't. And I think that and I could perfectly well survive without this the first 2 years. I mean, it wasn't an urgent thing to know, but it can help.
All blind people get a guide dog.
That's also not true. I don't know how it is from country to country. Here in Mexico, they tell me you have to first know how to use the white cane correctly, and then they teach you how to use the guide dog. So if you don't know how to use your white cane, well, there's no way for you to get a guide dog. And it also depends. No, for example, yes, guide dogs, they're nice, they're very helpful. But in my case, that I don't go out that frequently, I don't think it's that urgent for me, and I think I would have more responsibilities. You have to take very good care for your dog, because if it gets sick or something, it's not that easy, no, to get another one. It's not on the next corner, so it requires quite some dedication also. So not everyone wants it, and not everyone has the chance to have it, but some of them do have it, and they really love having their guide dog.
And those are all the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.